Hey guys, and welcome back to another Planet Zoo video. So in today's build we're going to be building this Japanese macaque habitat that you can see here. So it's a walkthrough habitat. As you can see, the guests are quite happily meandering through this habitat now, and there's a lot of climbing frames involved. Some of these climbing frames will be in the description below, so you can get them on Steam. Essentially, it's just a house that's got these kind of runs that lead up into the windows, so keepers can't access it, but the monkeys can, and the guests have a nice view of the macaques from inside. I'll show you that more at the end in the cinematic. So let's head over to the speed build now, and you can see me building this. Right, so for this build, I wanted to continue the pavilion gardens that we had up the hill to kind of make the habitats merge into each other. Obviously we're going from one walk-in habitat to another, so I simply copied and pasted the stuff over, because why build it if you've already built it? I am completely not against copy and pasting things in this game. It makes the game so much easier and can be quite effective as well, providing you make sure to rotate things around as well. Don't always keep it the same. Obviously for this it's just planters, so it's not anything too exciting. So yeah, I have these planters that I wanted to create for some palm trees, because I feel like the palm trees kind of just fit. I used the African giant jewellery pieces, I think is what they're called, like the art pieces, as planters. They make really nice planters. And then the rest was just, going mad with the flowers, changing them different colours, trying to make it all look really pretty. So I think the kind of continuation worked really well from like the pavilion gardens through like up to this habitat. Obviously with the macaques we have a lot of kind of climbing to do, which is really fun to build with, and yeah. So we are going to be getting to the main habitat in a minute. I do apologise for this, but I thought it'd be quite fun to kind of just see the whole habitat being built, including the kind of outdoor areas, because the main habitat is actually quite quick, really. It doesn't take me long to build because there's no intricate like shapes. It's a very square building, and the climbing frames are very, very basic as well. All the stuff like the climbing frames and that can be found below in the description, so they'll be on the workshop there if you want them. And there's like a little pack of them of 3 different types, and you can just use them in your zoos. They're designed obviously for the Himalayan, not the Himalayan, the Japanese macaque, sorry, so they've got the Himalayan trees and that, but so they're kind of made for the Japanese macaque, but I'm sure you could probably use them for other animals if you don't really care about the trees in their habitats and things. So I raised the fence and put some anti-climb on it, because obviously they can climb the wooden fence, and I decided that this would be where the sort of indoor area was. Now this area can only be accessed by the monkeys. The keepers can't actually get into this area, so this building is also on Steam, and there'll be a link below. If you do place it in your zoo, bear that in mind, because essentially the keepers can't get into it, and you can see why I wanted it to be like an only macaque house. So I made these little holes in the windows, and it meant that they can climb through those with the climbing frame and get into this area, and they do use it. They use it quite a lot. I was surprised actually. I wasn't sure whether it would work, but it does work, and I think that's one of the great things about this game, really. Yep, so here I just wanted to raise the walls up and sort out the pathing so it went around that corner nicely. You might struggle with that a bit when you're building this building in your zoos if you want to use it from the workshop. It's a 4-meter path, so just try and fit it as snugly as possible. So we have 2 different entry points. We have the lower entry point and then the upper entry point, because obviously monkeys like to climb around, so I wanted to kind of get that sort of capture that in this habitat, so that they can go in through the top or they can come in through the bottom. So when you're looking inside, you don't know which hole they're going to come through. They're going to come through the top or they're going to come through the bottom. So I was just experimenting with different pieces here, trying to work out what would work. I wanted a fence around the path. Now I also wanted them to use the path to be able to climb on it, so I used the climbing pieces to do this. And again, it's just a case of copy and pasting, making sure that from above it's in line with the path. Nothing too exciting, just I think it's Control X, I think it is, that you press, and it just means you can duplicate things very easily. So yeah, obviously with this barrier the keepers could not access all areas, so I had to have it kind of lowered down in some areas so the keepers can move around it. And then I stole this from the pavilion habitat just to finish off this little bit of path. So this habitat has 3 entrances and exits. So there's one that leads over a bridge, there's one that comes up from the peafowl habitat, and the other entrance is going to be where the jaguar habitat is going to be. So yeah, I obviously copy and paste a lot of things, and I also use some of the pre-made blueprints just to give me a starting point. Sometimes when I build, often I find that useful. And again, I wanted to have ropes going in between the trees. Now, if you're building in the game, you can filter the trees by whether they're climbable or not. So you can select by habitat, biome, and then you can also filter about whether they're climbable. So it means you can get a good selection of trees. You can work out whether they're climbable or not, and sort of working climbing frames into like the tree design itself. So, which is one of the cool features about this game, and something that I did a lot with the climbing bits. Obviously, I do tend to copy and paste this bit of rope over just because the rope was very, very fiddly. It sort of reminds me a bit like Go Ape. We have these things called Go Ape in the UK where you basically pay to go and be attached to ropes high up in the trees, and you kind of can jump around all these different climbing frames. They have like ropes up in the air that like kind of walkways, like a rope bridge with no railings or anything that's like way up into the trees, and you just have to kind of walk across it. Obviously you're attached to ropes, so if you fall you're not going to die, but yeah, so that's what they have. And I kind of, I suppose, stole some of the ideas from that. It's really, really fun, and they have like ropes and things you can climb. And yeah, so I wanted to have these sort of platforms. I mean, I used to build all the time with the wooden pieces rather than the ropes. This is my first build really actually using the ropes as a climbing piece, which kind of just mixes it up a little bit. And I wanted to have all these little platforms with the ropes going through it, and I really do like how the ropes look, and I feel like it did fit the aesthetic of this habitat. I think perhaps the wooden pieces fit the sort of tropical theme a bit more. Again, so this rigging piece, the little bridge across, and just the standard rope going between the 2 trees, that will be in the description below. You can just add them to your own habitats, do whatever you want with them. They're going to be in like a little blueprint, so yeah, feel free to go crazy with that. So obviously again, once I'd put in the main framework now, it was just a case of adding a few more little bits here and there just to kind of pad out the climbing frame, and making sure that they could access these inner areas, which I think, again, they can use it pretty well. They have no issues with it. Yeah, so I do like building climbing habitats. They're really, really fun, and it's trying to make them look pretty as well. And so this is the indoor area, so this is how they get in, as you can see, and this is the entire area inside is climbable, so the monkeys can go all the way inside it. And I was really pleased with how this turned out. We've got a little platform to come into, and then they've got this little climbing frame inside so they can get up to the different levels. Again, as I'm a big fan of copy and pasting, so this is another rope that I made to go to a different tree, and just trying to make it look a little bit more realistic with some of adding the little coils that came with the South American pack, and then having all these different poles that climb up between the different levels. So yeah, the toys that are added, it's all toys rather than food enrichment in here. I think I did put a water fountain in here at the end, just again to give them more choice to come inside, because they tend to use the water fountain rather than drinking. If they have a choice, they'll use the water pipe. Again, you can look at what's climbable in the building area as well. So if you go to the construction tab, you can filter out what pieces are climbable. So I was just putting in the roof now, and obviously the monkeys could climb out of that area, which means they could then escape the habitat boundaries. So I put in a glass roof into that area, and then I also put another glass roof. So it's got a double glass roof, this building. You might need to do some tweaks to it if you get it yourself, because obviously this is on the Steam Workshop as it is. Unfortunately, some of the video does get corrupted towards the end of this, so some bits are missing in the details, but I mean, you get the kind of gist of the main habitat, and you can see what I built. So this is sort of the pond area now, and I've had issues with them escaping over the rocks, but there is going to be a waterfall in there eventually. I still don't think I put it in. And here's some more rock work because I love doing rocks. I just think rocks are really fun to build. They're just, yeah, I really like kind of making them look really realistic, and it kind of makes the habitat, again, even putting like one big rock in, as you see I do in a minute, like just in like a month's vegetation, makes it feel more realistic and more in-depth. These moss pieces are brilliant as well. So anyway, I think we're coming to the end of this video now, and it's pretty much, you know, the same as usual. If you like my content, please subscribe. New Planet Zoo videos are coming out every Tuesday and Friday, so please do check those out. I think the next one is going to be the jaguar habitat, which will be built off this. I'm also going to be doing a spooky tour of my Halloween entry for Paulsley's Halloween competition. That'll be released on Halloween. Also, the Shelter 2 series is out every Sunday, and I'm probably going to be doing some other stuff too. I'm thinking of doing a couple of playthroughs of Project Winter as well, and playing some other games, because I really like Planet Zoo, but I also play other stuff. So do subscribe if you want to check out those. Anyway, I will see you in the next one, and leave you with the cinematics now. So take care, and I'll see you next time.